Hello and welcome. It's time once again to try to fix something. And today on the workbench, I've got another Xbox One S Blu-ray edition. And looks like I've done a little triage already, and this says a fast on off. So let's get to it here. Get some power on it. Let's see what we get. A very quick shutdown. Okay, that's where we're starting from. Let me get some covers off and see if we see anything obvious. Oh, and this one has definitely been opened before. The covers are not quite on it right. Yeah, she's definitely been opened before, so yeah, that's where we are. Okay, I've got the hard drive out. Blu-ray is out. It looks reasonably clean inside. I'm not seeing, the usual liquid damage. I don't see it unless it's directly under the heat sink here. I can't see under. Let's see what it does with those things removed. Same thing. On, right back off. Okay, I think it's time to get the motherboard out and get it inside. Alright, we are inside the workbench. And I'm not 100% where to start on this thing. So I think I will start looking for some shorted rails. The old meter in continuity mode. Let's see here now. And my camera wants to kind of go into business for itself here. Start moving. So I'm just in continuity mode, and I'm going to try to find a good ground, maybe right there, and start looking wherever I see these large coils. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be shorted there. That's 12 volts in. Trying to make sure I have a good ground though. I should probably null that out. Okay. It looks like a good ground. Me trying to compare it to it. Yeah, pretty good ground. Alrighty. So of course 12 volts is not shorted. I think this is a 5 volt rail down here. 56 ohms is not shorted. About in here. 500 ohms. I think this is a 1 point something, is it? I get them mixed up. Not shorted. I think there are several test pads here. That's ground. Yeah, I think that's a ground test pad. So nothing there. I should probably break out the schematic and start looking for some of these rails are. 4.8 ohms on that one. I can't remember if that's says NB core. Test point 6F1. I can't recall if that's supposed to be low impedance or not. Could be. It's pretty darn low though. 4.8 ohms. Check around these. Okay, 56 ohms on that RAM, the capacitor on these RAM ICs. And this is the. Can I get on these inductors going into the CPU? Or I can get on the MOSFET, I think. These will be low. 2 ohms. Yeah, 1 ohm. Yeah, that's the end of the processor. That's going to be low impedance. That's probably normal, I'm thinking. I'm not sure about this 5 ohms here. I really wish I had a working board sitting right beside it here to compare to. I'm just probing anything that looks like a power rail. Let me see what voltage this is. Let me check the schematic. TP6F1. Let me see what that is and maybe get an idea of how low impedance that should be. Alright, I've been looking around this board for a while. I decided that, that 5 ohm, 4.5 ohm reading I had here, I think that's normal. From what I can find on the internet, that's probably pretty close to normal. I got the thermal cam out looking around, but it shuts off so quickly that nothing really has time to warm up. I mean, a few things, you get very slight change in temperature, and then it's off within, a fraction of a second, so there's not much time to warm up. But I think I have found something. Just got lucky looking around the board. One of the few ICs that did get warm very slightly was this one right here. We're going to be taking a look at that one in just a moment here. See if I can get my microscope cranked up. But I changed I went to a different front panel board in case that was a problem. And that's not it. And I'm injecting 12 volts. Right now you can see it's drawing 14 milliamps. If I try to turn it on, you can see what it does. Up a couple hundred amps, a couple hundred milliamps, and back off again, real quick like. Let me turn that power supply off for right now, and let's take a look under the microscope if we could at this right here. I didn't think there was any liquid damage, but take a look at that. Yep, some of those pins are totally eroded. Some of the pads are totally eroded away, it looks like, and the pins on the chip may not be much better. But yeah, I didn't think there was any liquid damage. There's not a lot, but looks like there's going to be enough. So, yep, I didn't notice that my first pass around the board. Did not catch it. But you can see it seems to be isolated to the top of this chip. Oop, trying to make sure I keep it in the shot right there. That looks kind of nasty. So, yeah, and I see a little bit, you see the pin right there on the top, in that corner. There used to be a pad there, it looks like. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this chip off and try to do some cleanup. I mean, I might can clean it up without taking it off. I think I'd feel better, though, seeing what was under that chip. done a good bit of cleanup around U9C2, I believe it was. Right in that area, which apparently is responsible for driving a lot of this V-core MOSFETs and stuff. That's supposed to label on the schematic. And I think I've got that cleaned up well enough. She should do something different. So let me run out to the garage and get the hard drive and the power supply and whatever else we need, and we'll test this thing in here on the bench. Okay, I think I've got the bare necessities. Looks like it's a 500 gig drive in this one. I've got its original power supply, tiny heatsink. I've got its front panel board. Okay, I do have a monitor hooked to it. Let's get some AC power to it. Okay. Let's see what's going to happen. She stayed on. She stayed on. I'm sorry, you couldn't see the white light. She's staying on. Are we going to get any video? Not yet. Not yet. She's still on. Put a little pressure on that. How long should this take? We're staying on. HDMI out is hooked up. Oh, there we go. No splash screen. Okay. But we're up and running. I was expecting a splash screen. Maybe that can be turned off. I don't know. Oh, that looks good. That looks very promising. Okay, I should have seen that corrosion the first time through, and I just plain missed it. All right, let me do some cleanup on the chassis and everything, and we'll put this thing back together and see how it works out there in the garage once it's all back together. All right, we are back out in the garage. Our Xbox One S is fully reassembled, cleaned up nicely. Let's see, I think that's all we were doing. Yeah, we just needed to put it back together. Let's see if she works. She should. All I did was clean it. And we were working. And I think there's a bonus disc in the drive. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Okay. Getting quite the collection here of discs. So, well, anyway, I hope that one was somewhat interesting to you. It was to me. It taught me something that I'm going to remember going forward. This was a fast on-off, which I think is kind of common with some of these. And this one, it was because the V-core voltages were not coming up because of that controller IC up there. So that's something to note going forward. If those V-core voltages don't come up quick enough, or when they're supposed to, for whatever reason, it will shut off immediately. Okay, well, that's all I've got for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you in the very next repair. So long for now.